Okay. Ever wondered what happens when you blend in the right amount of tech into a daily use accessory? Here's the answer. Today, we have the Fastrack Vibes 2.0. Okay, you know what? You can see my screen through the glasses. I won't show that. So, the biggest question of the video is this worth the money? And if you don't want to see the rest of the video, the answer is hell yeah. Okay. So, from money reminds me the price. On the box, we can see, guy can see, the MRP stands at 4,000 rupees, but through offers, I got this at about 2,700 rupees. And since the last 3 days of usage, I can conclude that it's totally worth the money. So, because this is a tech product, from the front, they might look like fairly normal sunglasses. I just hit the mic. Okay. But the tech is hidden in the sides, the temples of the sunglasses. That's where the tech is. And I must read out the specifications of the device now, for which I printed out a sheet. So these do have Polaroid lenses, which fairly good at this price. Oh, you know what? The only bad thing about these Polaroid lenses is that it interrupts me using displays normally. Phones, laptops, infotainment systems on cars. That's the only problem with Polaroid lenses. Otherwise, they're fairly good for outside. Now they weigh about 31 grams, fairly light considering they've got a battery, speakers, microphones, everything inside them. I'm gonna take this off. I look like I'm high wearing sunglasses inside my room. Okay, they take about 2 hours to charge, and the battery life for songs is about 3 to 4 hours, and for calls it's supposed to be 5 hours. I haven't tested out the complete battery life. It's really hard to do so because continuously wearing sunglasses for 5 hours is not a normal thing for me. It's got an IPX4 rating, so it does not have any sort of dust resistance, except sunglasses are meant to be worn outside and there is no dust resistance on it whatsoever. But it does have some splash resistance to water, which I have tested and I'll be talking about later in this video. The manual says you should not use it above 40 degrees of temperature, which is weird because we are supposed to use sunglasses in the sun, and in India the temperatures can easily go above 40 degrees Celsius. But I would still recommend you to fairly use it around the recommended scenarios, considering they have a battery inside them, and if the batteries overheat or well say they swell up, they could explode under regular tech conditions. But I don't know about these ones. I haven't heard any complaints or so. So yeah, they're good to go. It comes with Bluetooth 5.0 and the range is set to be about 10 to 15 meters, which is fairly decent because you usually have your phone in your pocket and your sunglasses on your face. And well, yeah, that's pretty much it about the specs. Now, before I get to explaining the testing scenarios of how I tested it on day 1 and 2 and 3, I'll give you a little demonstration of how it starts. So right underneath the right temple, there's a little button right around my thumb. I'm gonna hold it to start this. I'm not sure if you heard that, but it barely took about 3 seconds to do the entire thing. And it took less than 1 second to connect to my phone if my Bluetooth is already on. Now, this does come with two sets of interactions. One, the button right under the right temple. I'm gonna wear it and show you. Right underneath here, there's one physical button, and on the right, this little part. It has a logo. If I tap it, the volume goes up, and if I touch and hold it, the volume goes down, which I feel like is an okayish form of interacting with the device, but I'm okay with it. If you hold it for a few seconds, it turns on. If you hold it for a few seconds, it turns off. If you double tap it, you can activate Google Assistant if you have it on your phone. And yes, sure, you can accept calls by clicking the button, the physical button. You can accept the calls by clicking the physical button. You can reject the calls by touching the tap on the side. It could have been the other way around. I would have preferred that, but that's okay. And yeah, similarly, you can cut the call by clicking the physical button once again after you're done with the call. That's pretty much about the interactions. On the right temple, of course, nothing to do with the left one here. We have a micro USB cable, and for the price, I guess it's okay. It does come with this fairly decent sized micro USB cable, type A to micro USB, and you also get a little user manual, which I would suggest for the first time in my life. I'm suggesting you to actually read this once. Just go through it once so you can get a hold of how this device works, the specifications, everything that's it's in there. There is no official information regarding the launch date of the device, which I really wanted to know, considering I wanted to know how old is this device because it has micro USB. Some new devices do have the same, but just want to know. I'm gonna turn on my fan. I turned it off to give the demonstration for the turn on. Now you see, why did I do that? This does not have an in-ear or on-ear sort of sound technology. This has an open-ear technology. See, I know everything about the device. So today is the third day of me using this device, and on day one, I pushed this device to its limits. In the morning at about I'd say 5:30, I charged this, and right from 6 o'clock, I started using them. This they had their battery like, almost at 90% or so, so I didn't have to charge it for too long. The battery indicator does turn blue from red once it's fully charged. Right, I forgot to tell you there is a battery indicator on this, just a little dot on the right temples again. The left one has pretty much no use except it has the branding of Fastrack and the speakers and maybe a microphone, I guess. Anyways, I took it to the beach. Now, what do we find in the beach? We find people, noisy people. We find fast winds and salty winds, really salty winds. So even if there's someone about 50 meters away from you, you can barely see them because it looks foggy because of the salt in the wind. And the sound from the waves. Also, if you're going in the water, water splashes, of course. I did not have to do that. So, how did the device hold up after all these harsh situations? Despite being told that you should not dip it in the water, you should not take it into dust, all that stuff, it did hold up pretty well. I'll give an exact description of how it worked out in different scenarios. I have three particular scenarios: the beach, a restaurant, and in the car. Three of them have completely different environments to deal with these sunglasses. I'll describe each one of them in detail. So, starting with the restaurant because I'll save beach for the last. It's the best one. Now the restaurant where I had my lunch was fairly silent, so if I played the music at about 80% volume, because below that even I could barely hear the music. I could only hear the vocals, no beats, no bass, nothing below 50%. So I had to put it at about 70 to 80% of volume. And yes, the people at my table could definitely hear the music coming out of my glasses. But if you're on the other tables, the table next to me, in front of me, behind me, anywhere, the chances of you hearing any sound from this are pretty low. Even though you could barely hear a muffled sound if you're on my table. I did give these glasses to my friend to test out with the music, and I could barely hear anything. I could not hear lyrics, nothing, just a muffled sound. So, did hold up pretty well in a restaurant. Next, we have the car. Now, the scenario in a car is really different from that of a restaurant. There are more conversations, there's music around, there's music playing in the car, there's different music playing in your sunglasses. How did it hold up in the car? I would say pretty well. I used it for a call in the car while music was being played and there were two people talking. I could hear the person on the speakers of the glasses. I was just about to say on the phone. And the person on the phone could hear me very clearly. I did confirm that the person could hear me really clearly. And along with that, when I played music on my glasses in the car just to test it out, I was having a regular conversation with the other people in the car. I could hear the music being played in the car, and I could also hear the music being played in my sunglasses. So if your brain is good enough to comprehend the three of them together, you're good to go. The third and my personal favorite environment to test these sunglasses, the beach. Now, there were three particular things that this sunglasses had to withstand, considering the recommended scenarios to use it: salty winds, water splashes, and sweat. Salty winds could sort of resemble the existence of dust because the winds were really salty. Even a person barely 50 meters away from me was quite foggy to me under normal vision and also with the sunglasses. Previously, I thought it's just the Polaroid sunglasses, but no, the wind was pretty salty in Puri. Next, water splashes. I did go out to dip my feet in the water, and there was a lot of sweat because, of course, I was in the sun, so there was naturally a lot of sweat. But these glasses actually held up pretty well against the three of them. And considering the speakers in the beach, the waves are really loud. The people around me are, of course, loud. They're there to hang out with their family, friends. So yeah, they're naturally going to be noisy. And the wind. The speakers worked perfectly fine in those atmospheres. I did play a few songs by Stephen Sanchez, and if you've heard Stephen's songs, they are quite detailed. You need a lot of detail. You need a ambient environment to actually hear the song pretty well. And these glasses did not do a bad job. They did not disappoint me. I did try it with some other songs, and for majority of the time, it worked pretty well, decent. They work like regular headphones also. Not as good as them because, of course, they're not in ear or even over the ear. They have an open ear sort of a system. That's the speakers are behind your ears. So I'm not sure about it, but the speakers not just work through leaking sound everywhere. They might have some sort of bone conduction procedure going through them. I'm not sure about that. I'll just assume because a lot of such smart glasses they use this bone conduction technology where they send the sound in the form of vibration through the bones of the ears. The bones in the ears are quite sensitive to sound, of course. They're made for hearing. So yeah, they work really well in the beach. So yeah, you're going out for a walk, you're going out to the beach, you're going out to the restaurant, you're going out for maybe a drive. These are perfect for it. So if you are a fan of Wayfarers as your choice of sunglasses, and you have a budget of maybe below 3,000 or below 4,000 if the offer's over by then, this is a beautiful option for you. I would highly recommend these as your audio partner in the sun, or even as regular sunglasses. These are awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much it about this device. Hope you liked it. And if you ask me, would I recommend this device for everyday use? Of course, that's the whole point of the video, me suggesting you this device. Of course, I'm not sponsored. I had to buy these glasses by my own. So yeah, one more awesome device to my collection, and in a few days I might add one more. Not glasses, another device. See you then.